Hi guys, it's Paula and I hope you are doing well. This is going to be the September month for shopping our stash. This is a collaborative project I do with my friend Elisabeth. Every single month the two of us pick out one color to focus on from our eyeshadow collection and we shop all of our eyeshadows to see how many we actually have of that shade, and we're hoping to kind of satisfy our urges to shop for more eyeshadow palettes because, like so many of you, that is our greatest weakness. And the more we shop our stash, the easier it gets to say no to the new palettes that are coming out because we are so much more familiar with what we have and what we don't need. We both agreed that the best color to do for the month of September would be a mustard yellow, a curry yellow, that kind of yellow shade that is just so fall appropriate. When September rolls around, it is the kind of color that everyone wants to put on their eyes and incorporate into their looks and on their clothes and in their shoes and in their bags, whatever. It's just such a trendy color for this time of year. I'm gonna leave Elisabeth's channel linked down below. I hope you guys check it out and I hope you guys subscribe to her channel if you're not already. She is a fabulous person. She's really become a close friend of mine throughout the year of doing this project together. We are more than just part of the same panning community. We are definitely good friends, even though we live on opposite ends of the earth. So, well, not opposite ends, but more than a car ride away. A nice long airplane ride away. I'm rambling. It was a lot easier to choose matte yellow, mustard yellow shades. It got a little trickier when it came to shimmers because then they start looking gold, and we both kind of felt like gold is different than mustard yellow. I pulled a bunch of palettes out in front of me. We will see how many of these are actually mustard yellow or if some of them are just gold. I don't know. I don't have a ton of mustard yellow mattes. Obviously, when it comes to the color mustard yellow, there is one palette that I think of, and I think there's one palette that most of you think of, and that is, of course, the ABH Subculture. This palette was easily my reference point for mustard yellow. I went with this shade down here, which is Edge, and I kind of compared all the other yellows that I have to this one as far as does it meet the criteria for mustard yellow. So let's start by swatching that. This is obviously a matte shadow. There's a swatch of it right there. It's also the shade I have above my crease, kind of working its way towards my eyebrow today in my look. So there is mustard yellow. It's Saturday. I don't paint my nails until tomorrow. Sorry. As far as other mustard yellow mattes, I don't have a lot. In fact, I don't think I have any, but I pulled out 3 other yellows to swatch and kind of compare side by side. The first one is this yellow from the Coral Obsessions Huda Beauty palette, and here it is right here. I was really on the fence about whether or not this is a mustard yellow or just yellow. I also have the ColourPop Yes Please palette, and I didn't even pull that out for this video, and maybe I should, but this one seems a little closer than that one as far as mustard yellow. There it is right there. I guess this one's more of a Dijon, and this one's just a straight up French's mustard yellow. The next yellow kind of falls in the same boat. It's maybe too bright to be a mustard yellow, but it is this one right here in the Clover palette from Too Faced. It's called Good Boy. And it's a matte with very subtle flecks of silver glitter. We know Too Faced loves that. And there it is right there. So that's maybe a little bit brighter than the Huda Beauty one. And the final matte is different than these 3 by far. It's in the Jaclyn Hill Morphe Collab palette, and it's this one right here, which I think is called Dreamsicle. I don't know what kind of mustard yellow that is, but I figured I would swatch it for comparison's sake because it is a beautiful yellowy shade. It's definitely got a bit more orange in it than the other 3. So this is kind of the standard for mustard yellow that I think, and then these 3 are all mattes that are close but not quite there. I believe every other palette that I have in front of me is either a shimmer, a metallic, or a satin finish eyeshadow. Let's talk about the other eyeshadows I put on my eyes for this look today. I decided to go in with a shadow from my e.l.f. Aqua Beauty Island Breeze palette. This is the palette I am most likely considering for Pan That Palette next year, and it looks like this. This has a lot of green in it, but it's stunning. It's stunning. So I thought I'd give it a swatch to show you how it looks, and it is what I have on the inner third of my eyelid right now. I also have another eyeshadow on top of that. There it is right there. When I turn it this way, it looks mustard yellow. When I turn it this way, it looks green. I don't know if it's a duochrome, but I definitely see green and mustard yellow in it. And then on top of it, I actually pulled out this Wet n Wild palette. This is the Walking the Red Carpet palette. This was limited edition. It looks like this, and I have this shadow on top of that. So let me give you a swatch of that. It actually performed really well today. So there's the Wet n Wild one on top of the e.l.f. one. Well, it's underneath the e.l.f. one, but on my eyes today, it's on top of the e.l.f. one. In the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice palette, this palette makes an appearance in a lot of these videos. It has some gorgeous colors. I am gonna swatch Warm and Toasty, which is this one right there. It definitely looks kind of mustardy yellow. Smells good. There's Warm and Toasty right there. It's got a little bit more orange in it. It would go really nicely with the Dreamsicle one from the Jaclyn Hill palette, if you ask me. Up next in my Smashbox Masterclass palette, I will swatch this one right down here. It's called Gold. There's Gold right there from the Smashbox palette. In my Too Faced Stardust palette, that's a collab with Vegas Nay, I will swatch Golden Nugget, which is this one down here. There it is down there. It's similar to the Too Faced Gingerbread Spice palette, maybe not quite as much orange in it. Okay, Juvia's Place, the Magic palette. This is a huge palette. It is a huge palette. I found another greeny gold that kind of looks like mustard. This one up here, that is Nubia. It feels amazing when I swatch it. Oh my gosh. Look at that. Juvia's Place eyeshadows are like none other. Look at that. It is beaming. That's Nubia right there from Juvia's Place. It's stunning. All right, let's talk about the Good Sport palette from ColourPop. I am going to go ahead and swatch Licious and Trooper, because that's kind of a mustard yellow right there. This one and this one. I didn't even think of that matte one. That's definitely a mustard yellow. Okay. Trooper, the matte one's gonna go in the row where the first mattes are, and Licious is gonna go over here. Okay, so this matte right there, that's Trooper from the Good Sport palette, and then this one is Licious. And it is fighting for a spot in the light with the Juvia's Place palette. Stunning. Okay, another ColourPop palette. This is the I Think I Love You palette. And I'm gonna swatch this yellowy gold right here. I think it's called Rule Breaker. I think. Right there. It's almost a spot-on dupe for the gold in the Good Sport palette. Very similar to each other. Okay, The Warrior by Juvia's Place. I've never used this. I've never used half of these on my eyes. I am gonna swatch this one called Bakwa. I hope I'm saying that right. There it is right there. Another Juvia's Place is the Nubian 2. And I am going to go ahead and swatch Nairobi right there. Right there. Does anybody else kind of want a hot dog right now? Because I'm kind of craving a hot dog. Not gonna lie. Okay, let's talk about Makeup Geek. This gold right up here is, I think, called Fortune Teller. Yes. Makeup Geek Fortune Teller. Right up there. It is so unbelievably soft and smooth. Really nice shadow. I think Alexi hit pan on this shadow in her Pan That Palette project last year. All right, there's Makeup Geek's Fortune Teller. Okay, I am not 100% sure, but I think this gold eyeshadow right here might be MAC's Gold Mine. I'm not sure. Whatever it is, there it is right down there. Okay, every month I like to pull out my eyes on the 60s palette from BH Cosmetics. This month is no exception. I'm gonna go ahead and swatch this guy right there. He's kind of like a dirty mustard. We'll call him a dirty mustard. All right, I'm running out of space. That is a really pretty color. The Urban Decay and Kristen Leanne Collab palette. I'm going to go ahead and swatch Stay Gold. This one right up there. Gorgeous. We only have 2 more. This is actually going to be a relatively quick video for me. Luckily, I don't have a bajillion mustard yellows in my collection. It's not the kind of color I tend to wear year-round. Up next is this one from the Balm Voyage palette from the Balm. This is D1. They did this like rows and seats in an airplane. So it's just called D1. It's possibly, well, probably the lightest one out of all of the eyeshadows I've swatched, but it's very pretty. And then finally, you know, I'm gonna bust out my e.l.f. 100 pan palette. Interestingly enough, while I was prepping for this video, I noticed an eyeshadow that I've never noticed before in this palette, which is just amazing because I have panned 3 eyeshadows in this palette, and this palette has been in 3 projects, but I've never noticed this shadow up here before. He's gorgeous, and I should use him soon. Look at that. That swatched beautifully. For an old e.l.f. palette that I got for free as a birthday gift, I think that swatched lovely. All right. After doing all these swatches, guess what my leading thought is? I do not need the Natasha Denona Gold Palette. I do not need it at all. The truth is that the 2 shadows in the Natasha Denona Gold Palette that I am the most drawn to are not even gold. The one is that matte teal eyeshadow. I don't know what it's called, but the other one is right next to it, and it's like that duochrome gold / teal shifting metallic shadow. Those are the 2 shadows that I want that most. Now, I suppose if I really want that one shadow, I should just buy it. But I really think I kind of achieved the same look with my eye look today that I would have gotten from that palette. All I did was I added Access from the Subculture palette. So after I used all those golds that I showed you, I applied Access, this one right here, to the outer half of my eyelid. And I really think it looks a lot like the kind of look I was jonesing for out of the gold palette from Natasha to Nonna. So this video has been really helpful, not only to see how many amazing gold eyeshadows I already have, but when I did my makeup this morning, I realized that I can create the look I'm craving from the gold palette with what I have. That's a good feeling. And this isn't the kind of look that I tend to want to do every day. I have to be in a mood. So to spend that kind of money on an entire eyeshadow palette that I might only do occasionally really doesn't make a whole lot of sense. Now, I'm not saying I'm never gonna buy it, but I am trying to talk myself out of it, at least for now, because I have not finished nearly enough eyeshadows this year to justify buying the gold palette. In fact, I haven't finished any eyeshadows yet this year, so I'm in no position to be bringing more eyeshadows into my collection right now. I also have an unbelievable amount of palettes in my stash that I've never even used on my eyes even once. And I'm constantly telling myself that every single day. Like, how many palettes do you have? How many have you not even gotten to? How many untouched palettes do you have? I have so many. So this video was really helpful for me. I'm really glad that Elisabeth suggested we do mustard yellow. I love that color. I like it a lot. I think these eyeshadows are all gorgeous, and I would love to work with some of them this season because I think it's a great time of year to play around with those colors. What do you think? Did I achieve mustard yellow, or was I off and I was just going way too gold? I don't know. I was trying to stick with mustard yellow, but it was kind of hard to nail on the head. I guess I could have just pulled out that one shadow from the Subculture palette and been like, done. But I wanted to play around and see what some of these other mustardy warm golds look like, and this is what I came up with. I hope you guys go over and check out Elisabeth's video because it's fun to watch and she's a wonderful person. Thank you guys so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.